welcome to my channel. I am Courtney Noel, and clearly I am Courtney Noel. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you are an oldie but a goldie, hey girl, hey boy, hey, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, this is a scrub top, so this is going to be a nurse related video, specifically utilization review. So if you like, child, what is a concurrent review? If you want to know what utilization review nurses do during a run-up a day. If you want to just be plain old nosy, go ahead and stay tuned to this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and ring my bell. Ring my bell. My bell. Ring-a-ling-a-ling. Ring my bell so you can stay notified of my weekly videos. Alright cousins, you already know this is going to be a utilization review video, and we are going to talk about the concurrent review. Lucky for you guys, I have created a concurrent review template as well as an admission review template. So if you are a utilization review nurse and you need help in this area and you are interested, please don't forget to click the link in the description box and support this channel and support me. I love you. So let's get into this video. Alright, so listen, a concurrent review. So if you do not know what an admission review is or an initial review is, I suggest you watch this video and then you come back here and it will better prep you for a concurrent review. So a concurrent review can be done on an observation and an inpatient stay, okay? Observation cases you should be looking at daily. Concurrent review, it just depends on your facility's protocol. This is done while the patient remains in a hospital. So if a patient is in observation level of care, you should be looking at that patient's stay every day. I'm sure if you're a utilization review nurse already, you know that observation hours matter. Observation hours, they want to keep them to a minimum. Maybe you're like, why do they want to keep observation hours to a minimum? Because the longer they're in observation, the less money the facility makes. Now, if you work on the payer side, your goal is to keep the patient in observation level of care as much as possible, so that way the payer doesn't pay the facility more money. So it just depends on what side of the coin that you are on. Now, every hospital and every payer has a different facility. A different policy in regards to this. And most times this is where it can get confusing for new nurses because this changes. So, say for instance, you may have maybe Sunshine and Better. I don't know if that's specific to where you are. They may pay up to 48 hours in observation. This is done, when they say that is a contractual agreement. Okay? So every facility should probably, more than likely, they have different contracts. So the amount of observation hours that a payer will pay is dependent on that. And that will also determine how you, it will help you to understand how long you have, what kind of playroom you have when it comes to these observation hours. Now when we're talking about concurrent review, we must also, when we talk about this, we're talking about managed care patients. Okay, Medicare has different rules. There is a 2 midnight stay, and that is a whole nother ball game. We're not getting into that here, and I don't know when we're gonna get into that. But what we're talking about is specific to managed care patients, aka patients who have insurances. All right, but again, every patient at observation level of care, no matter what payer, Medicare, managed care, uninsured, should be reviewed every single day. Now, say for instance, okay, yeah, you got that part. We trying to review it every single day, observation hours, contractual, But what happens when that patient is converted to inpatient and there needs to be a concurrent review? How often should it be done? That depends on your hospital facility. The real answer is it's really payer driven. So say for instance, you may be covering the NICU, right? And that's my background. I have a special place for my NICU mother babies. I review those like that. And I never worked NICU actually, but you know, that's another tea for another time. Anywho, they may say, depending on where that NICU baby is in their stay and what's the intensity of care, they may say, okay, we review this every 7 days. But there comes a time when these babies become feed and grow, and you might be reviewing every day. It is payer specific, and the payer will let you know. They'll say, okay, once you got an approval for inpatient level of care, they will be sending your facility back an authorization that says the next review date is 2 or 3 days away. And that's how you should, technically, that's how you should gauge your next review date. Some facilities don't do it that way. They have every 3 days or every 5 days. And a lot of times that is driven by staffing. So if they don't have a lot of staff, there's no way they can really keep up with the influx of continued stays, concurrent reviews, and also be trying to manage their observation hours, etc., etc. Remember, okay, let's talk about the actual review. Like I said in the other video, the concurrent review should be much shorter, and you are providing the payer or the clinical, you're providing the clinical should be providing pertinent information. It should be providing information that is showing the medical necessity for this continued stay. So if your patient is if they're not functional, they're not optimizing their functionality, they can't walk, they can't move, and they still requiring PT, or maybe this person had a CABG and they're still not functioning well after post-procedure, it needs to document why. What is the pertinent information that is keeping these patients in the facility? That's what it's supposed to be, quick and easy and shows to the point. When it comes to concurrent reviews from the facility side, this is also where you can pick up avoidable delays, avoidable days. We'll talk about that another time, but basically it's showing what is holding up the progression of care for this patient. So maybe you work at a facility that does not have cardiac cath on the weekends unless it's emergent, and this patient needed a cardiac cath and they waited 2 days over the weekend to get the cardiac cath on Monday and then get discharged home. You gonna be assigning 2 avoidable days, avoidable delays, okay? They're interchangeable. So that's another thing, another video for another day, but I do want to mention that when you're doing a concurrent review, that is typically where you can find the glitches that are happening within your system that delays the progression of care. But again, when you're doing a concurrent review, it is pertinent information, and every patient that has in your facility that already has an admission review, they should be having a concurrent review along with the criteria. You should be reviewing the criteria. Even if it does not meet, you should be saying however your facility tells you to document, whether it does not meet IP or inpatient interqual criteria, does not meet inpatient MCG criteria, whatever guideline your facility uses, your clinical review should be showing that for your facility. I'm not saying that you should send that to the payer. That's facility specific. What I am saying is that you as the reviewer should have reviewed the clinical information against the criteria review. Every patient, every review, okay? I cannot stress that enough. Every patient that comes into the hospital with a admitting order needs a clinical review and a criteria review. Okay, that's period, point blank. But your concurrent reviews are much easier, much quicker, because you're not getting all that meat and potatoes. You're just expressing why this patient is still in the hospital. And depending on where you are, as far as facility and the relationships or the autonomy that they give you as a utilization review nurse, when you have concurrent reviews, this is where it becomes the time to build a relationship between those nurses. So the other side of the nurses, whether you're the payer or the provider, this is where the communication becomes important. Because say for instance, you were that nurse, you work at a hospital, and y'all did have this patient delayed for that time because you guys aren't open to cath lab. You may have a relationship with that review and say, hey, listen, I know we didn't have this, but listen, this patient really needed cath, but you know it wasn't emergent, but look at this, look at their EKG was in lead 2, or there was some ST changes, and even over the weekend the patient had some fluctuations on the EKG on the telemonitor, and we had to give them, you know, a beta blocker. Like, this is where even though you're sending the clinical review, you also are having that verbal conversation, which sometimes could be considered verbal report, to help substantiate and make sure that stay in the hospital gets approved. So I hope this makes sense. If it doesn't, drop me some comments in the comments box below. Again, I have a template to help you, especially my new UR nurses, and it's not expensive, so y'all go ahead and get these templates and help your work become more efficient and proficient, and also support this channel because you're getting free info anyways, okay? But most importantly, I want you to know that I love you, but Jesus, he loves you so much more. God bless you.